So good afternoon, September the 18th, 2014. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Life. Today, we are getting into day number 8 for week number 4. So this is the last week for the first learning contract with inquiry-based learning as the theme. So let's get started. Good afternoon, welcome back to this class. If you look at the white screen, it's day number 8 for this course. This is week number 4. In other words, this is the last week for your first learning contract. And by the end of this week, you need to submit something to earn your score. That is for your first learning contract. So I will reserve some time today to allow students to do the in-class participation sharing. I have a lot of students who would like to share today. And then I would like to walk you through the second episodes of information literacy in the context of doing your research assignment. So once you're seated, let's get started. And definitely, if you have a question, ask me for your first learning contract. I will also reserve time enough to answer your questions today. So, information literacy. You've learned the Discover method of information literacy, which is very useful. And you also are informed of the stages, 5 important stages of practicing your information literacy. You identify there is a need for information, particularly in solving a particular problem or doing a research project, and you go to access the information. And once you have finished your access, normally you have more than what you need. So you need to do evaluations of the sources and informations until you find something which is really useful and matches to your purpose. Then use them. Now, when you use the important information, you need to give a big shout out to the sources, and that is the ethical standard which is required of each one of us. So here we go. Let us continue from this. Now that you need to start your research assignment, what does it mean? It's not just doing a journal for the sake of doing a journal. It's about discovering something about a topic of interest that you choose. So let's get started.
Hey there. Welcome to the Mercy College Library's Information Literacy Module Series. In this module, you will learn the basics about acquiring the information literacy skills needed to deal with the research papers and assignments that will be a big part of your academic career here at Mercy, regardless of your major. First off, what is this information literacy business? Glad you asked. Information literacy is the ability to recognize, locate, use, and attribute valid and credible information sources, including books, journals, magazine and newspaper articles, and an ever-growing variety of multimedia sources. In this module, you will learn the importance of understanding your assignment, choosing a topic that fits the assignment, narrowing or expanding your topic, creating a topic sentence, and determining what kind and how much information you will need. Research assignments can vary depending upon your class and your professor. But let's say you've been assigned a 4 to 6 page research paper requiring 2 outside sources using either the APA or MLA citation styles. What does that mean? Well, it's like this. A research paper or project usually means you need to construct an argument or take a position, make a case for your chosen topic. To support your argument, you'll need to find and use outside.
When every one of us turn on our mobile devices, the bandwidth is a scary source. So my computer is struggling with more bandwidth to get you the video now. So just be patient.
Sources of information. An outside source is any information that is not included in your course text or class readings. When searching for information to support your argument, it is very important that you select what we call authoritative sources, sources that have credibility and validity. This is where things can get tricky because there is so much information available to you these days, especially on the internet. It's becoming more and more difficult to determine not only what is credible and what is bogus, but even where to start. Not knowing where to go or what to do can become very frustrating very fast, leading to that dreaded modern malady known as information overload and you don't want to go there. Let your librarians help you. Before going any further into this, it's very important you understand the assignment and what your professor expects of you. If you are uncertain or unclear on any part of what's expected here, including how much time you have, get with your prof before pushing on, okay? All right, so I've got this 4 to 6 page paper to deal with.
Remember that. You got this 4 to 6 pages paper to do with, which is exactly what you need to write for yourself. Now, how are you going to get started when we get into bandwidth back after you see the video? That is your assignment. How do you get started? You start by selecting a topic of interest. That is the question from the reading list. On the possible which
Where do you even start with this beast? A couple of points to consider when getting started. Always try to choose a topic that interests you. Whenever possible, choose a topic that is related to your major. For the purposes of this example, let's say you have chosen the topic of bullying for your paper.
What are you looking at, butthead?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That guy. Okay, we've got to start. We've also got a big and broad topic. What to do? First, let's break it down. Brainstorm ideas on the topic. Throw some ideas down. Don't worry about whether they're good, bad, right, wrong, useful or not, completely ridiculous. Just throw down some thoughts that come to you when you think of bullying. Maybe bullying in the internet. Read about that a lot. Maybe bullying in social media, Facebook, etc. Wait, there's a word for that, isn't there? Yeah, cyberbullying. Okay, making progress. Maybe something on cyberbullying and social media. Sweet. Now what? Remember that in a research paper, you are creating an argument, staking out and defending a position on your topic. So what's next? Try taking your idea and putting it into a single topic sentence. For ideas to help you, Google or other search engines can be a great source. Search engines, as we'll talk about more in subsequent modules, have limited use as sources for academic writing like this, but they're a great source of ideas and a good place to start. For example, let's take a quick look around Google for cyberbullying and social media. Well, looky here. Seems cyberbullying and social media has caused suicides. That's some serious stuff. What's being done about this? What can be done? What should be done? Wait, do you feel the topic sense coming on here? Maybe something like, what steps are being taken to prevent cyberbullying in social media? Dang, we're good. Okay, here's what we've got covered so far. You understand your research assignment, what's expected of you, and how much time you have to do it. You've kicked around some ideas and boiled it all down to a topic, sentence, or question from which you'll develop an argument that will be your paper. You need to go and get 2 credible sources you will use to support your argument. In our next module, you'll learn about the open and closed web and how to use library resources to get the best sources for your paper. Oh, and those citation styles your professor is requiring? Don't worry about that just yet. We'll get to that too. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next installment.
So here we go. Now this practice of information literacy situated in the you're working out your research paper assignment, just like in your first learning contract. You are obliged to select a topic of interest from for which reading list there are more than 6 questions there. Okay? So you need to identify the questions of your interest. So because by the end of this week you need to submit the artifacts of your first learning contract, and the first artifact is an online learning journal. So I assume by this time all of you should have chosen your topic of interest. That is the question from any one of the 4 reading lists in the past 4 weeks. So at this point, may I invite you to come here, okay, in the public online discussion forum for week number 4. Here you can see I have set up questions here. What is your topic of interest? Your questions. Now you help to identify this and share with us your questions of interest by giving us from which reading list, week 1, week 2, week 3, or week 4. You have select which questions, okay? And under that questions, which information item have you studied to produce a journal? Every one of you use the mobile device, come online, and type in which week have you select your question, which question, type in your questions, and then type in the information item you have already studied for the set of OIA, which you're going to use as the basis to submit the journal. And finally, if you have done all of these, share with us your topic sentence if you have finished writing one. What is a topic sentence? Based on that question, what is your immediate response to that question? What is it all about? Okay? So you start out your research assignment with a topic. That is your question. You identify information for that question. Fortunately, I've given you a bunch of information. Now, we are requesting that you list the first information item you have studied under that question to share with us here. Now, spend about 5 minutes time here doing that. I understand it might be a little bit sticky for you to use your mobile devices to copy and paste those informations into the Moodle environment. It's the best to do it with your tablet, PC, okay? Because copy and paste with the mobile device sometimes takes longer than what is expected. All right, spend 5 minutes time doing that. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a roll call for attendance. Eva, thank you. Priscilla, thank you. Jackson, thank you. Ken, thank you. Jackie, thank you. Juan, thank you. Xiao, thank you. Eric, thank you. Shenron, Martin, thank you. Winnie, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Apple, thank you. Miranda, Say Guy. Thank you. Fai. Thank you. Cindy. Thank you. Tony. Thank you. Miko. Thank you. Ishan. Thank you. Sylvie. Thank you. Any person whose name has not been called? Okay. Very good. Some responses now. Spend some time doing it. Now pay attention to the video stuff. It tells you that information literacy helps you to identify a need for information. When you have a topic of interest, you definitely have a need for information. Then you need to access those informations, recognize what informations will be good for your work, and how much, evaluate them, use them with the ethical practice of citing the sources. Give you some time, type in your responses first. Hopefully you've already got that clear, because you should have done that, because you're supposed to submit to work by the end of this Sunday. We have 6 students who are ready to share today. It's excellent. As you can see, Sophie, Cindy, Tony, Joelle, Priscilla, and me. All right? So, let me come back here to see how many responses do we have. Yes, very good. We got quite a number of responses. Very good. Now that you know what you want. How do you find what you need? If this is an example to show you, we can have the search performed either electronically from some search engines such as Google or DocPy or Yahoo. We also need not to ignore our library at the University of Macau. We have a library full of references and many database tools. So let's just keep on learning from this for another video.
Hello, and welcome to the Mercy College Library's Information Literacy Module Series. In this module, you will learn the difference between search engines and databases, how to develop a search strategy for your research paper or project, how to access databases using the library website, and how to use database tools to refine and focus your search. Ready? Let's get started. Search engines are open web-based search tools such as Google, Yahoo, or Bing that help you locate information available on the World Wide Web. You're probably very familiar with those. Databases use the internet to search for information too, but use a restricted part of the web to store information that is off limits to search engines like Google. This portion of the web is sometimes referred to as the closed or dark web. Where search engines troll the free and open web where anyone can post anything, databases search a much more controlled environment of information that has been checked for validity and reliability, what we call authoritative sources. The authority of the sources you use to support your research paper or project is crucial. If you think of your project or paper as building a house, your sources are its foundation. If your foundation is strong, the house is solid. If your foundation is weak, your house may collapse. Before we jump in on databases, let's do a bit more preparation. Another difference between databases and search engines is how you communicate with them. Where Google can gobble up whole sentences of natural language queries, databases relate better to what we call keywords, the essential terms in what you're searching for. When first dealing with databases, this is maybe the most challenging difference from a search engine like Google. But here's the upside. As you get a handle on databases, you will find that using keywords is one of the tools you can use to give you much more relevant and focused results. Think about it. When was the last time a Google search returned less than a gazillion results? Our natural language Google search on cyberbullying, for example, returned 539,000 results. Yeah, that's right. The fast track to information overload and, well, let's just say you got to get up real early to go through that many results. Let's look at our topic question. What steps are being taken to prevent cyberbullying in social media? All right, let's break this down. Good. Now let's take these keywords and plug them into a database to see what happens. Let's start with a reference database. If your professor says, "No Wikipedia," for your research project, not to worry. Your library's got you covered. So let's take a look at Credo Reference, a good reference database accessible from the library website, which you can reach from the Mercy College homepage, mercy.edu, then mouse over Academics, scroll down to Libraries, and that will take you to the library homepage. Then scroll down to the research column there in the center. Select Find Articles by Subject. This is a listing that's going to give you all of the databases by subject or your major. It helps you find which databases have strengths in a particular field. It also, off to the left, lists our most popular, our heavy hitters, which includes Credo Reference, the big reference database.
It just takes a while to get the data in. We're competing the limited bandwidth within this room with all mobile devices, so
see that each of us can provide with a fixed IP. Unfortunately, I don't see a fixed IP.
Base. So let's take a look to see how our keywords may fare in a database like this. So we click on Advanced Search, which is going to give us a few more options, and we put in cyberbullying up top because that's our main keyword. Then in an exact phrase we can enter 2 words or more, and you see there's social media, but also there's social media or social networking, which is actually something that might give us a few more options on the return. So let's go with that, see what happens. Click search, and not an overwhelming number of results, but we did get 9. And as you see there, we have cyberbullying, we have cyber internet offenses, cyber stalking. That looks interesting. And then scrolling back up here, off to the left, just to point out briefly, you'll see how the database tries to focus these articles into a way that makes them easier for you to determine what you want. Let's click on cyberbullying just to see what it gives us there, and you see it gives us a little sort of introduction to the article. If that looks interesting, you can click on the link to give you the complete text. Over on the right side, right here, you'll see a number of little tools that are with every article. It will give you an email option, a PDF option, a save option, a share option. Down at the bottom, these are the citation styles that you can choose. You see you have an option of APA, MLA. So Credo will also fix you up that way as well. Credo Reference has given us a good start. Now let's check out one more database for a wider range of information sources. All right, now let's look at another database, a general purpose database, again accessible through the Mercy College homepage, mouse over academics, down to libraries. Then in the center column there, look for the second link, find articles by subject. Then the general listing off to the top left there. You see where we chose Credo last time. Now we're going to look at ProQuest All Collections. This is a database, actually it's 16 databases in one, and can be a nice one-stop shop for your article search. As you see, we have our keywords laid out there and ready to go. We have cyberbullying up top. We have social media or social networking as we used before. This time we have them placed within quotation marks, which will tell the database only bring back those words exactly as they appear within the quotations. I'm going to click on the full text, which will give us just that, and I'm going to leave everything else off. Click search. Let's see what happens. Well, 2,420 results, more than the 9 that Credo gave us, but less than the 500.
Look at the way the results come up. 2,409.
169,000 that Google gave us. Also, you'll note over here on the right that ProQuest will bring back a number of different types of articles. And you see there the magazines. There are 118 magazines. I think I want to go there. I want to see what we have on these keywords in magazines that ProQuest found for us. So just scrolling down, looking for titles that may be interesting. And you see the keywords are highlighted there. Look at number 6. How to Stop the Bullies. Yes. Click on the title. It will bring you to the abstract page. The abstract is a summary of the article, which can be helpful. If that looks promising, then you can kind of scan the article there. You see there's the full text, and you can see where the highlighted keywords show up. If you prefer the PDF version, which will look more like a photocopy of the original, that's also available. And you see it has email, print, and the handy cite option. Click on that, and yes, ProQuest will cite that article in the style of choice. There's APA, there's MLA, whatever you want, you just tell it, it does it. You can also email yourself the article, which also offers you the opportunity to include at the bottom the citation in any particular style that you want. So, ProQuest will do this with every article. It's a very useful, very user-friendly database, and along with Credo, maybe all you need for your project. If you find you need more help, check the supplementary sources available in Blackboard or ask a Mercy College librarian for help. Okay, here's what we've covered in this module. We've learned about the basic differences between search engines and databases. We developed keywords from our topic question to focus our database search. We accessed and searched 2 databases through the library website to locate valid, authoritative outside sources for your research project. And we learned that additional information is available through the module companion site, available through your Blackboard course or asking the Mercy College librarian. In our next module, we'll learn about how to credit your outside sources and how to avoid plagiarism, which is a big dark hole you definitely don't want to fall into. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next installment.
Well, if you pay attention to the video, this video will open up your minds to many of the resources you may have not noticed in our own library. One example is the ProQuest database, which is a combination of 16 other databases, which is available in our library. And it happens that once you got your topic interest identified, once you have written a little bit on your journal, remember the OIA, particularly the I-part interpretations, requires each one of us to ask questions. So when we ask questions, we need information to support the further explorations of those questions. Where do we get those informations? We go to the ProQuest, we go to the Yahoo, we type in some keyword that is the theme of our study. For example, cyberbullying and social media. And what are the themes of your study? So let us try and get back to the forum now to see how you can manage some of these informations. Okay? So let's see. It takes a while for my computer to respond to. Here we go. So let's see. Yes, we got some. Let's read. From Cindy's, I've selected questions. What is digital divide in the 21st century? From week number 3. Digital divide is a generation gap which is widening in our society, mainly between the rich and the poor. Well, this is quite a topic sentence. So how do you describe or fit the digital gap into a generation gap? And week number 4 from Jeff, discover information literacy. Information literacy is a skill to identify which is useful and which is useless on the internet. Now, let me remind Jeff that you need to go back to the reading list, and from the reading list, you look up on questions. Then from that question, you print it here, and underneath that questions, look up related information. Now, discover information literacy is the video we use to support understanding here. So you need to refine the questions here. Okay? Let's say, Ziao. What is digital divide in the 21st century? Again, it can be the difference between the poor and the rich, especially referred to a different level of information power. It's also very interesting along the direction. So, week number 3, ethics and information age. Okay, now you did not copy the questions here. So what you mean, what is ethic in the information age? And then some information is ethics, society, technology, connected, and network. Then, if this is your topic sentence, you need to have some keywords identified and then follow-up questions. So you need to make sure you understand the topic sentence concept. So then, Jackson, I selected question for week number 1. Question number 1, that is what is web technology. That is impact in life. That's very good. So the keywords to web technology is an impact in life. My topic name is the relationship between web technology and our life, and talk about the definition of web technology in some example that we use web technologies such as Facebook. But I think that's very good, it's very precise and up to the point. Now, you can also pinpoint the exact impact, okay? MICO, information society, information security awareness. It's very important, and we should pay attention to it. Now, information is very leaked. Now, once again, you need to tell from which to your question is what is information security or what is information security awareness. Copy the questions there, and then select the information item, and then come up with your topic sentence. It should be an informative piece that people, when they look at it, should understand what you're going for, going after. Ethics and social responsibility in the information page for week number 3. Question is that what is ethics and the difference between past and information age of ethics. Now what we should do is that focusing on ethics and learn to save our moral bottoms in the digital time. Okay, that means you have a mission here. By focusing on ethics, we can do something that is to save our moral base, bottom lines, okay? Oh, by next week, I'm going to show you a very simple, logical, what I say is a formula, or you can say, in order to achieve something, you need to do that for some kind of purposes. If you can develop that logical thinking, it could be very useful to you, okay? So that is something I observed. I may need to help compensate your understanding. Everybody, what is information technology? Use computer to transmit and manipulate data, getting more and more information to do better work. In other words, you need to be more specific, say, under what is information technology, to achieve what purposes, for whom, in what way, under what kind of services. You might want to fill the data there. Okay, so topic sentence is very useful sometimes. Again, this is week number 4. Jackie, what is information literacy? Ability of interpretations and productions. Whoa, that is very interesting. To be literate means we are knowledgeable about something. So Miranda said, week 1, day 2, what is active learning? Oh, wait a minute. So when you look at this question, we know that this is not from a specific reading list, because in a specific reading list we do not use question. So you select this question because there is support video items there for what is active learning. But be careful, when we invite you to do a journal, we invite you to do a journal for a specific question that is listed in each of the reading lists. If you have done something for a question that has not been listed in a specific reading list, you will not receive as expected score as a test because you're doing something which is considered supplementary, not a core. So make sure, Miranda, you have to choose the right question, okay? Tony, what is information privacy is the relationship between collections and disseminations of data, technology, the public expectations of privacy, and the legal and political issues surrounding them. Now that is very good. You enumerate the technology side, the legal side, and also the political side. That means the people's interest side. So, once again, Martin, the topic I selected was what is web technology and how to impact our life. Okay, for week 1, web technology improve our life, it makes us interact with others conveniently and quickly by 2 or more computer devices. Okay, you have narrowed down the way web technologies impact our life, and you position it must be conveniently, and the way to do it conveniently is by 2 or more computing devices. Well, that is very interesting. But in the meantime, I would find it a little bit annoying too for me. You see, when I walk in here, I always touch my backpack here to see if my mobile phone is still here because I happen to drop it several times on the floor. And then I take a look at my USB sometime here, and then my watch. Now they have a watch that could connect with your phone. Particularly, have you visited a Samsung shop and an iPhone shop too? watch, talk to your phones directly, and then it's very interesting. And then, have you ever put on the Google Glass? Okay, I got several friends, and they let me try the Google Glass. So when I come in here, if I put on my Google Glass, I can actually do my video through my Google Glass instead of there. Okay, you can already video through my Google Glass. But our rector at the University of discovered with his colleagues back at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst discovered that if you use Google Glass, not in a careful manner, it's easy for the hacker to hack into your private information through the way you use your Google Glass. That is very interesting. Now that is exactly, you can have something here. It may not be always convenient, it's risky in terms of privacy. Okay, Yi Shun, what is information literacy? Information literacy is an ability to adapt to the information society. It's involved in all aspects of knowledge. It includes human, technical, economic, and legal factors. Again, many subjects are close to me. The whole world is there, right? So, but in the context of a topic sentence, you do not want to make the scope that big, because if you really do it this way, you have to spend a lot of time digging up many different sources. So the suggestion is make it focus on one, at most two specific areas. Okay, now that you know what you want and you know how to find them, now suppose you've already got your information, the next thing you need to learn, particularly in the first learning contract, is how to cite your sources, give credit to your sources.
Hello, and welcome to the Mercy College Library's Information Literacy Module Series. In this module, you will learn about plagiarism, what it is and how to avoid it, citations and bibliography, using and crediting outside sources in your own text, and the ALA and MLA citation styles. Ready? Let's get started. What is plagiarism? Well, simply put, plagiarism is taking someone else's work and trying to pass it off as your own. Now, back in the day, the lines were more obvious. You took something that wasn't yours, it was stealing.
Do you realize what would happen if I hand in my homework in your handwriting? I'll get kicked out of school.
But in today's mashup culture, where sampling and sharing are commonplace, the lines have become much more blurred. In academic writing, though, using someone else's work without credit is still a no-no. A big no-no. A great, big, honking, ugly no-no. Plagiarism can get you busted in a number of ways, and none of them are good. Failing your paper, failing class, put on academic probation, even expulsion from the college. In short, something to be avoided. As a rule of thumb to stay safe, anything in your paper or project that had any help or support from an outside source, credit the source. Let's take a look at the most common instances of crediting outside sources in your research paper or project that you're likely to come across. For this, let's call upon the fine folks at Purdue University's Online Writing Lab, or OWL. See how I just credited a source there? Okay, let's look at in-text citations, paraphrasing, summary, and quotations. A word on these acronyms and citation styles. APA, MLA. What do those mean? Well, APA and MLA are two of the most popular citation styles you'll be working with. APA is the style of the American Psychological Association and is used primarily in the sciences. MLA is the style of the Modern Language Association and is used primarily in the arts and humanities. As your academic careers progress and you get further into your majors, you may encounter other more specialized styles, but APA and MLA are the two most common. So let's take a quick look at how the OWL site can help you sort of cut through some of this confusion of how to format certain in-text citations. If you're working in the APA style, as you see, just select APA and then scroll down here and you'll see that the OWL site not only tells you, but it shows you exactly how to lay out your short quotations, your long quotations, your summary or paraphrase. The nice thing about it is that you can just make yours look like this and you'll be fine.
These are very useful resources helping you to understand how to cite the proper sources for the material you select to put in your report and also your blog. Okay, so this Purdue University's
Working in MLA instead, not a problem. Just switch over to MLA style, then go to the Formatting and Style Guide, and then to MLA in text citations, and it will show you the same information, but it will give it to you in the MLA style. So again, very, very helpful site. But wait, there's more. In addition to all this citation stuff in the body of your paper or project, there is also the bibliography page that lists alphabetically the complete citations for all of the sources you've used in your paper or project. So again, the OWL site is one that can help you through this part of the process. If you're using MLA, the MLA bibliography is called a works cited page, and OWL has an entire works cited page worked up here for you, and it includes books, magazines, newspapers, journal articles, just about anything. DVDs are in there. Anything you can think of is going to be there, and it's all formatted correctly, of course. So it's called works cited. If you're using MLA, just go and make your page look like this. If it's APA you're doing, well, click over to the APA style, and the APA bibliography is called a reference page. As you can see, citing your sources correctly involves a lot of detail and can be more than a bit frustrating. After our quick review, I'll point you to some additional sources of information to help. But first, let's review what we've covered in this module. We learned about plagiarism, what it is and how to avoid it. We learned about the different styles of citations crediting your sources in the body of your research paper or project. We learned what APA and MLA mean and what subjects these styles generally apply to. We learned about your bibliography page that lists all of your sources alphabetically at the end of your paper or project. Whew, that was a lot. Here are some additional sources that can help you with your citations and citation style. In addition to Purdue's OWL site, there are a number of style guide templates available on the open web. One being EasyBib, which is very popular and embedded in a number of databases, including Credo and ProQuest. Do keep in mind that if you use MLA, it's free. If you use APA, you gotta pay. So
this is a very useful site for you to generate proper citations and references.
that is something to keep in mind, for which we recommend the Son of Citation Machine, which is free for both APA and MLA. So you see, you just select the style you want, APA for example, and then what is it you're citing? A book, a web page, a journal perhaps? Select that. Type in the information from the citation, and then Silo Citation Machine will set the style for you. Also in MLA as well. If you'd rather just talk to an actual human being, come on down to the library at any time and talk to a Mercy reference librarian. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next installment.
Okay, now you have already watched the 3 episodes of these Mercy College Put Information Literacy in the context of research assignments videos. I believe they are very useful and it helps to remind you a lot of things, particularly the citation stuff in APA and also some of the students who have to use MLA. Now if you look at this week's essential materials, I've already given you enough and invite you to do some in-class participations. At home, if you need some help to guide you through the different resources in the library, come to visit this link. It's an Essential Information Literacy series by Dr. Bob Baker. It's a very useful link. It contains 12 different episodes, each not more than 3 to 4 minutes. It helps you to see, if you walk into the library, what different sources of information should you expect, all right? So this is a very excellent source to help you to understand the traditional library system that you need to manage in order to discover information on your own. Now, this week, by the end of this week, I should be collecting your artifacts for learning contract number 1. As you can see, the submission links is already here. 6 different submission links, 1 for each item. I'm going to answer questions on any of your concerns here, but let me remind you, at the end of each learning contract, I have set up a student learning experience questionnaire for you, and this questionnaire will be open during this weekend from Saturday to Sunday. So after you submit all of this item, come to finish this questionnaire. It will help me to understand your feeling and your experience in completing the first learning contract for this semester. It is very useful. Every semester, when I try to look at students' feedback, assignment after assignment, I'm trying to adjust the path of my work towards your needs, okay? So, for those of you who need some extra help, do not forget, okay? Do not forget. If you happen to forget, let me remind you before you forget. We have a learn and practice link here for the first learning contract. If you need some help to guide you through systematically the different way to understand the course. This course is information, what technology and life. So here we have this particular course, okay, using this particular textbook. So for the first learning contract, we have devoted 3 different PowerPoint, 1 for each of the topic here, Web 2.0, blogs, and wikis, okay? Although we actually come to wikis starting from next week, but it's very simple. So read those PowerPoint and get some understanding on what is expected of you if you are reading from the textbook, which is this one, okay? And remember, if you need some help in understanding the context in the first 4 weeks, come back to this 2 important documentary. For some of these, we watch it online during the classroom time. And this is also very good information on digital divide. And so, do not forget these excellent sources. If you need some help on pair exercise and team project, you can click those links. This will be good for you, particularly with your learning partner. And if you like some kind of systematic guidance on the web, such as writing a sub-blog, come here. Make sure you understand the individual objectives of learning from individual chapters. Okay? We do not do this in class because if we do it in class, we're going for a coverage-based approach, and we have no time for inviting your discussions on that. So having said that, may I just invite individual students from this class who are willing to do the sharing today to come according to the order here. Okay? Sophie, are you ready? All right. So I'm going to pass you the microphone So at the end of Sylvie, it will be Cindy, and then Tony, Joelle, Priscilla, and Nikki. Now I can give you each 3 minutes, okay? One on the other. Two together. Okay, as a pair, so Sophie and Cindy. Okay, so you have 4 minutes. So let's give Sylvie and Cindy some encouragement questions.